Yesterday was a super Tuesday in this country, politically speaking. The voters of Bonchari and Juja constituencies went to the polls to elect their new members of parliament. The two by-elections were significant, politically speaking, in this country. And the results are already out. In Juja constituency, Moses Kuria humiliated President Uhuru Kenyatta badly. And I'm going to do a comprehensive analysis of the Juja by-election. Because President Uhuru Kenyatta comes from Kiambu County. Juja is in Kiambu County. President Uhuru Kenyatta comes from Gatundu South. Moses Kuria comes from Gatundu South. And in Bonchari, the ODM candidate also emerged victorious. And that's a defeat to Fred Okengo Matiangi. Fred Matiangi had deployed all machinery to win that seat. Voter bribery, voter intimidation, use of state machinery. But he was still defeated. And Raila Odinga has delivered bad message to Fred Okengo Matiangi. So in this video today, I want us to look at the message which Raila Odinga delivered to Fred Okengo Matiangi, and why personally I strongly believe that Fred Matiangi should not have ventured into Bonchari by-election, because the outcome now confines him to the very far end of politics in this country. But before we do that, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please, I want you to take a second or two just now and click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. What we do on this channel, Makwiny, is that we analyze politics in a way you can't find any other place. So just feel free and click subscribe button. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. I know you guys are going to enjoy this video, and you will not forget to give it thumbs up. Now let us get back to business and focus on Bonchari. In Bonchari, yesterday during the day, it was clear that Fred Okengo Matiangi was out to stop specifically the ODM candidate from winning the seat.
That it is shameful. As a party, we are never going to be intimidated by anyone. I said we will never walk on our knees. We will not kneel down for anybody, including these so-called regional kingpins that are being created by the state.
And I asked myself one simple question. Was it necessary for Fred Matiangi to venture into Bonchari politics? He was using the chiefs, the assistant chiefs, the police were deployed there. And, you'd imagine that it was actually a presidential election, which it was not. And when the result started streaming in, it was a neck to neck. In fact, you couldn't tell who was going to win that election between the ODM candidate, the Jubilee candidate, and even the United Democratic Alliance Party candidate. At some point, the United Democratic Alliance Party candidate was the one leading for a very long time before he was overtaken by Oimeke. So ultimately, the ODM won, followed by Jubilee, and then the United Democratic Alliance Party. And Raila Odinga, through his Facebook page, which is official page, had this to say. And this is the message he's delivering to Fred Matiangi. I want you to listen. Raila Odinga is saying, what we have witnessed in the by-election in Bonchari and Juja is an abuse of police powers and an arrogant display of impunity by a few overzealous and bellicose government functionaries. When Raila is talking of abuse of police powers, the police are directly under Fred Okengo Matiangi. So which means probably Fred Matiangi gave them power, because even in Juja it was not. In fact, sometimes I tend to think that Matiangi and the group failed President Uhuru Kenyatta. Bonchari was not that serious. But Juja was serious because it was going to shame the president. So they forgot to go to Juja. They forgot to protect or even to attempt to rig in Juja, but he was focusing in his own backyard. And the mere fact that Raila Odinga is talking of an arrogant display of impunity by a few. So basically, it's referring to a section of government, and this is the wing which has always been claimed to be frustrating Raila Odinga. Matiangi, I've never known that Matiangi is also part of that team. Of course, Karanja Kibichu has been frustrating Raila Odinga. But it's now clear that Matiangi probably is involved. And Raila is continuing. An election process is an opportunity for the voters to express their will at the ballot, and not an avenue to pursue, listen keenly, to pursue imaginary and short-legged political interest. He began by stating that a few overzealous and bellicose government machineries. So it's now coming down to say that these few individuals in government are trying to pursue imaginary and short-legged political interest. So which means they're not going to succeed, politically speaking. I believe that Fred Matiangi made a mistake in venturing into Bonchari. And I'm going to explain that in the next section of this video. But let me just continue with this. He's saying, really saying, security forces exist to serve the people and not the interest of those out to conduct political experiments. So basically, Raila is trying to tell Matiangi here that, look here, what you are engaging in is political experiment. He wanted to test his might, his strength, whether he's going to be the goosey leader in Bonchari, using the police, who are not even voters there, using the state machinery, and using money. And it's continuing. Raila Odinga, Baba mwenyewe. Baba is continuing here. Let me just get it. Hey, Baba is saying, the peaceful coexistence post-2018 must not be taken for granted by some rogue elements wanting to confuse the handshake for an excuse to erode our hard-earned liberty. This must stop. So Raila Odinga is now coming and is bringing in the element of the handshake, and is reminding these people that the peaceful coexistence after the handshake should not be taken for granted by rogue elements who are trying to confuse the handshake for an excuse to erode. So basically, Raila Odinga is now telling these people that I'll not sit and watch you guys try to erode the gains which we have achieved as a country. So Fred Okengo Matiang'i must be very clear, because those who are pushing for his presidency believe that he can easily be chosen as a compromise candidate. That would mean Raila Odinga must support him. It would also mean that apart from Raila Odinga supporting him, President Uhuru Kenyatta must also support him. That's the only time Fred Matiang'i can have a chance at the presidency. But Fred Matiang'i committed a mistake. And this mistake, this blunder of venturing into Bonchari constituency, is going to cost Fred Okengo Matiang'i, because it has exposed him in several ways. The first way is that Fred Matiang'i has now been ruled out of Gusii politics. The main reason why Fred Matiang'i entered into Bonchari was to stamp his authority as the Gusii leader. I want to ask you a question. Was there a need for Fred Okengo Matiang'i to prove a point that is the Gusii leader? In this country today, Matiang'i is almost the second in command after President Uhuru Kenyatta. Even if the deputy president is number 2, Fred Matiang'i still comes at number 3. James Ongwae, the governor, is just a governor of the Kisii County. The Nyamira governor is a guy there who I don't think has ambition even beyond being a governor. Ongwae is serving his second term in office, which means constitutionally Ongwae is not going to run again. So the best strategy for Matiang'i, if I were to advise him, would have been to support the ODM party support the ODM candidate, work closely with the Gusii leaders, rally them behind the ODM candidate, and once that seat is delivered, claim credit for it. That's how smart politicians work. Fred Matiang'i insisted that Jubilee had to sponsor a candidate. Jubilee Party had agreed that they were not going to sponsor any candidate in Bonchari. But Matiang'i insisted. So he wanted to be the Gusii leader. He's been defeated. What next for him? Of course, the margin is narrow, but if you look at if you combine the United Democratic Alliance Party, Order Party votes, and the ODM Party votes, that should worry Fred Matiang'i. His mission has aborted. Number two, which is the most important thing Matiang'i has lost, he has lost the trust of ODM supporters. ODM supporters would have easily voted for Fred Matiang'i as the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Then comes Bonchari. Matiang'i decides to target ODM party. Not only targeting, you can campaign against the ODM party, but when you target their supporters, you arrest them on the election day. Their agents, in fact, were it not for the intimidation, I think ODM would have performed better. Because Matiang'i arrested almost all their key agents before the elections. The MCAs, the ODM officials, all of them were arrested. So ODM supporters yesterday were just lamenting about Fred Matiang'i, someone they've always looked up to, someone they always believed that they can actually support for the presidency in 2022. So that trust is gone, which means if Fred Matiang'i still wants to become the president of the Republic of Kenya, he must build that trust again, because it's gone. I know ODM party, how they operate. That trust is gone. So basically, if they were to be given a choice between Matiang'i, Mudavadi, Weta, probably they would go for Reverend Wetangula instead of Fred Matiang'i. Number three, it has also exposed Fred Matiang'i's support for the One Kenya movement. I've always opined on this platform that around President Uhuru Kenyatta, there are several groups. There's a group which believes that the president should support his deputy. That group has been subdued. Then there's another group which believes that President Uhuru Kenyatta should support Raila Odinga. And then there's another group which believes that the president should support a compromise candidate. This is what Matiang'i and the group are banking on. And also there's another group which believes that probably the president should support someone within the cabinet. Again, Matiang'i still finds himself there. But you are in politics. And since you are in politics, the best thing Matiang'i ought to have done, in my considered opinion, is not to expose himself so much. ODM supporters believe that One Kenya Alliance is working against Raila Odinga. So they don't have time for them. So Fred Matiang'i would have sat back and just watched politics unfold. But now he was there fully. And the hand of One Kenya Alliance movement was seen. Majority of ODM supporters always believed that Kibicho was the guy behind that team. Now Matiang'i's hand has also been seen. And lastly, which is also important, is that the by-election in Bonchari also exposed Fred Matiang'i, other side, dictator. How would you explain the misuse of state machinery, the misuse of the police, the misuse of chiefs in Bonchari, just to win a political seat, a mere member of parliament? Fred Matiang'i has told Kenyans, of course most Kenyans have always seen him as someone who is a bulldozer, someone who gets things work, either forcefully or otherwise. But the mere fact that he misused state resources, he misused state machinery, he misused the police, is something which is worrying Kenyans. So Fred Matiang'i, in my considered opinion, should now think about his future. That future, I don't think it lies in politics. Let me hear your thoughts. And by the way, I want to ask some of my friends here, some people like Ngige, people, so many of them, about Juja. What's your take about Juja? Do you credit it to William Ruto? Do you credit it to Moses Kuria? Or do you credit it to President Uhuru Kenyatta's failures? I want to hear your thoughts on that. And is it possible that the state could be behind Moses Kuria? Because I've always believed that Moses Kuria is a possible Trojan horse in President Uhuru Kenyatta's camp. Is it possible? I'm just asking. Is it possible that the state is making Moses Kuria so that towards 2022, Moses Kuria will announce that he's going to be the presidential candidate? And with the support of the larger Mount Kenya region, Moses Kuria is going to get a sizable number of votes. Votes which would have gone to the deputy president. And by that denying the deputy president central Kenya votes. I'm just thinking. Let us think together. And I want to read those your comments. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.